Okay. I got an idea as I'm just playing and chilling a little bit. I want to share with you guys. I'll just let you to do its job and wait a little bit. I got an idea. I mean, it's late here in the US, early in some of my awesome friend countries of Singapore, Dubai, Asia, Europe. I wonder if some of you guys have some gas left in the tank for some more crypto and XRP and crypt and what we like to do as always. But I got an idea and I want to share it with you right now in just a moment. Just a moment, I'll tell you what I'm cooking today. You know what to do, guys. First and foremost, thank you for being here because most of you guys, most of everybody is ready to share with the family and friends and loved ones. But um, yeah, what's up? Are we rich yet? What's up, planets? What's up, ghost? What's up, guys? Welcome. How we doing, guys? How we doing? So, just gonna wait maybe 30 more seconds. Let Brad speak, huh? Let Brad speak. That's just the right answer to all of our questions. Let Brad speak. Good evening, everybody. Good morning to some of you. I see some people. Buenas, buenas. Bonjour. Ni hao. Yeah, that's all I. So, um, I'm sure I'm not the only one that. What's up, Valentino? I'm sure I'm not the only one that I adore to watch top 10. Like, I'm old enough to remember Watch Mojo. Anybody here? So Watch Mojo or anything top 10, top 5, top moments, highlights, whatever. And I really kind of like to watch what were the top moments, the highlights, the wins of the year, right? And in this case, I mean, Brad Garlinghouse with Ripple for sure. I'm always down. Like nobody's doing it. No channel is doing like a top XRP crypto moments of the year. Of course, there's so many out there. Plus, we're watching the 1 minute candle for XRP. So yeah, hopefully I'm not the one collapsing crypto or XRP, but somebody's like, we need money for the Christmas gifts, and they're selling crypto right now. Are you kidding me? So yeah, um, yeah. So well, why don't we go ahead and enjoy a few moments so we can go back and answer some questions. Of course, take a look at the comments, and engage with everybody here watching. But just look back because I mean, I'm not the only one. So much happened, man. Go ahead and toss this trash too. I still have my Shiba Inu. It's just everything is collapsing. I mean, everything's really not great. But that's it. Like when I bought Shiba Inu, I knew what I was getting into. All right. Same applies with all crypto. Thankfully, we're not selling crypto today, right? Because if I was to sell today, I'll be really pissed and mad at me holding all this long and selling at a point where it doesn't really make any sense. So now you know what we're gonna do, guys, and we're coming out with the comments, and there's some pretty cool posts, right? And you guys remember this one for sure when Brad, was before Congress. That was really nice. We also remember the answer, right? He didn't really speak much. We remember this one when the case, right, back in March, they dropped the lawsuit. Guys, they dropped the appeal. How many of us, I remember those days when we were like, as soon as they drop the case, we are gonna explode. Yes. Yes. So it was roller coaster of emotions back then. It helped though. It helped for the July all-time high. It did help. And also we have Donald J. Trump speaking earlier today at the 48th Kennedy Center honors. They didn't. I didn't know this was going to happen. There was no public schedule for this, but he was the host, so he spoke for a little bit. So Trump spoke earlier today. Well, some people in the comments want me to play it already. Of course. So, with no further ado, drop a like, guys. Consider subscribing to the channel. Welcome aboard. Why don't we go ahead and take a look at everything? And if you remember, because I do know a few more, but if you can tell me which other moments you want me to feature, which other moments you want me to play, please go ahead and do so. There's many, like Ripple Swell, then Singapore, or like crypto blockchain somewhere in Asia, and he spoke. So there's so many other good moments out there. All right, let's do this thing. Look at this one.
As many of you know, just over 4 years ago, the United States SEC filed its lawsuit against Ripple. I'm finally able to announce that this case has ended. It's over. Sitting here today and reflecting on 4 years ago, it seems very clear to me that this case was doomed from the start. In so many ways, it was the first major shot fired in the war on crypto. I truly felt like I knew then that Ripple was not only on the right side of the law, but I felt that we were also going to be proven to be on the right side of history.
It really, I think, sends an ominous sign for innovation around cryptocurrency in the United States. Picking winners in general has not been something the U.S. government should be in the business of doing.
I think the judge realizes this is not just about Ripple. This will have broader implications.
As Mary Jo White, the former head of the SEC, has said publicly that she views this as a dead wrong, and the SEC is dead wrong on this decision.
Ripple is the first company with the resources, determination, and grit to fight back against the agency's overreach. And today, this journey finally concludes. Today is a victory and a long overdue surrender by the SEC. The SEC, under Chairman Gary Gensler, went after the whole industry, using the same arguments they used against us. They weren't out to protect investors. They were out to intimidate and terrorize. The regulator, whose primary purpose is to protect investors, went all in on a non-fraud, victimless lawsuit and wiped out $15 billion of value from innocent XRP holders. The SEC was the market manipulator. The SEC wasn't seeking justice. They were seeking to win a case at any cost. Forces inside our government aligned with the SEC and embarked on a campaign of debanking anyone associated with the crypto industry. This was lawfare, a war of legal terror. Fortunately, the judge rebuked the SEC multiple times in this journey. First, for lacking a, quote, faithful allegiance to the law. The SEC was sanctioned in our case for discovery abuses, and the pattern was repeated in other crypto cases.
Well, let's just say they're trying to confuse you.
We won then on every critical legal point, proving that the digital asset XRP is not a security. That is now the law. And those wins have laid the groundwork for policymakers to adopt a set of rules for crypto that are in line with nearly a century of securities law. With today's news, the war on crypto has ended in defeat for those who turned our own government.
This reminds me that we won in 2025. So the price of XRP was more or less $2 when we got the news. And then we saw in July how it went all the way to all-time high 360. We're back at $2, knowing that we won against the SEC, meaning that at some point you are gonna, okay, somebody decided to get a green candle. I like that. Can we continue another green candle in the 1 minute? Come on. Okay, get up. Oh, okay. Who's buying? Is it you? Get up. So what I'm saying is, at some point, everybody, everything and all the winning we did, especially against the SEC. Now we have an SEC pro crypto, Paul Atkins. We have a CFTC pro crypto. We have an CFTC chairman who is pro crypto now. So, it's gonna all align, and then we're gonna have a new Fed chair, a new Fed chair, guys. It's coming next year, dude. Like, what better place and world we need to be for everything just to get really, really crazy, right?
Against a technology and entire industry. I'm heartened that we have paved the way for other industry players to see the value in not backing down, and for others to use our legal playbook to fight back. We are now closing a chapter in crypto history. I think we are all stronger for our prior litigation successes and today's landmark victory. Progress is worth fighting for. We won multiple pro-crypto victories at the ballot box last year. It's time to make the US the crypto capital of the world. Thankfully, we have new leadership in executive and legislative branches of our government. That leadership is actively seeking a rational and constructive way forward on crypto. Let's make the most of this. This is an incredibly promising moment. Let's come together. Let's leave the tribalism behind. Let me make it clearer that my main message, what Ripple's main message today, is about gratitude. It's gratitude to everyone who stood by us, to every Ripple employee, to the incredible legal team here at Ripple, led by the best chief legal officer in the business, Stu Alderodi. Gratitude certainly to the XRP family, to our customers, to our partners. Thank you. We couldn't have won this battle without all of you being behind us and working together. I truly believe we all agree there's immense opportunity with the largest economy in the world finally taking a pro-crypto and pro-innovation approach to build this technology in order to solve real-world problems for people around the planet. This was a fight Ripple never wanted, but one we knew we had to win. And today, emphatically, we have. Thank you.
Let's go. So, good. Really nice. This is one of many. This is back in March. I absolutely love Oscar. What a great guy. Will Oscar be betting next Christmas? Crypto. Yeah. We'll continue. Last one was XRP. This one is XRP-A. But honestly, just for the entire crypto industry, guys. And anyway, I saw another comment, which I want to highlight. It's right here. It says, where is it? It says something about haters. But here, Alex says, haters, please keep this energy when we moon. Alex, where are you at, brother? Where are you at, Alex? You're totally right, Alex. You're totally right. I love it. I love it for sure. But this is one, so I really like it. Why don't we go ahead and move to this one, which is Brad Garlinghouse response and like the initial statement when he was before Congress, right? For those who are just here, who just arrived, there you go, Alex. I see you, brother. I am one that loves top 10s, like top moments, top highlights, top whatever, right? When it comes to soccer, games, anything, right? Top. Because I just kind of want to see what it was for the entire season, movie, whatever. So in this case, since nobody's doing it, I'm going to do it. And it is my preparation. Maybe I make a video, right? Maybe it's going to be a 30-minute video, 20-minute video, who knows? But I just want more prepare and organize instead of me just talking right in the middle. But I think it's going to be a good idea to have like a top 10 Brad Garlinghouse conversations, right? Because he also had a bunch of podcasts. He went on a bunch of, different podcasts and YouTubers and interviews. So that's pretty exciting. Let's listen to this one. This is one, he was in Congress earlier this year.
Good morning, Chair Scott, Ranking Member Warren, and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today. My name is Brad Garlinghouse, and I'm the CEO of Ripple. Ranking Member Warren, and members of the committee.
Hello, Warren.
Thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today. My name is Brad Garlinghouse, and I'm the CEO of Ripple. Ripple has approximately 900 employees across our 15 offices worldwide. We were founded more than a decade ago with a mission to enable the Internet of Value, a world where money moves like information does today. We build software products that power cross-border payments, stablecoins, and digital custody. Ripple helps financial institutions reduce friction, unlock efficiencies, and serve their customers better. These are not abstract concepts. We work every day with banks that rely on our technology to deliver real results in the global economy. Ripple leverages the XRP ledger, a decentralized, battle-tested, open-source blockchain, as well as its native digital asset, XRP, to facilitate payments. XRP is built to enable fast, low-cost, and highly scalable transactions. From the start, Ripple made the deliberate choice to work with policymakers and regulators, not around them. We have taken a compliance-first approach, operating with over 60 payment, service, crypto, and money transmitter licenses domestically and globally. With regard to the topic of this hearing, we believe smart legislation should be based on several core principles. Consumers need protection from fraud and scams. Markets need proper oversight. Bad actors need to be kept in check. And innovation must thrive. A constructive and workable framework for digital assets and stablecoins that achieves these goals will expand access to financial markets, create jobs, strengthen the economy, and put the U.S. on the path to being a global blockchain and crypto leader. For the last decade, the legal and regulatory uncertainty surrounding crypto has prohibited meaningful progress in the U.S. At Ripple, we certainly saw firsthand how the lack of clear rules of the road can be weaponized to target good actors. In turn, the technology, jobs, and tax dollars that go with it are pushed offshore, reducing regulatory oversight and putting consumers at higher risk. This has severely harmed American businesses, investors, and of most concerned, consumers. Ripple was the tip of the spear for this regulation by enforcement campaign and was subject to an enforcement action in 2020. We were the first leading U.S. company to be sued by the SEC. We and many others understood that a loss here would be a death knell for the industry. Fortunately, after 4 years of a hard-fought legal battle, we prevailed. The court ruled in our favor on everything that mattered, including finding that the token XRP is not, in and of itself, a security. Our victory cleared the path for other market participants to fight back. Despite these headwinds, Ripple still prioritizes education and engagement with policymakers and regulators globally. For companies to have the confidence to continue doing business in the United States, Congress should focus on passing principled and smart legislation with these critical goals in mind. First, set clear jurisdictional boundaries for our main financial regulators. Second, establish pathways for companies to build in the U.S. without sacrificing investor or consumer protections. And third, ensure that the U.S. can be a global leader in crypto by taking full advantage of the benefits and efficiencies brought by digital assets and blockchain technologies. The U.S. possesses the world's deepest capital markets, the most advanced technical talent, and a spirit of innovation that has powered our nation since its founding. There is no reason we should not be the undisputed leader in digital assets and blockchain. Over 55 million Americans participate in the crypto economy today, equating to over a $3.3 trillion market cap. A smart regulatory framework for crypto market structure is essential to realize that future and is overdue. Speaking on behalf of the crypto industry, I urge you to prioritize the passage of market structure legislation for digital assets through this committee and the full Senate, to provide the rules and regulations needed to ensure that the U.S. becomes the crypto capital of the world. Once market structure legislation for digital assets becomes law in the United States, this will catalyze a new era of U.S. competitiveness and unlock efficiencies in financial transactions, dramatically helping consumers and businesses alike. Ripple hopes to see this become a reality, and we look forward to working with you to help make this happen. I look forward to your questions.
Thank you.
Boom. I love the haters. Nothing's happening with XRP and they still come. So that was 4 minutes, and then this is the response he gave to who? Senator. Hey, yeah, to a senator. So let's listen up.
Is that depending upon an SEC and CFTC to work together assumes good faith appointed officials in doing that. What we have seen previously is the SEC actually sowed confusion in the marketplace They took contradictory positions. Under Chairman Gensler, they took actually contradictory positions in different court cases, which actually created more confusion. Yeah. And so you had federal judges saying things like the SEC was being arbitrary and capricious in their application of the law. You had judges, federal judges saying that they were not following a, quote, faithful allegiance to the law. And so my concern in depending upon a unelected appointee to make those decisions is that it assumes a good faith actor. And I think what we saw in this most recent SEC was just a war against the industry at large without a consistent application of that law. Is that depending...
And now that we have a CFTC, and I mean, I just have to repeat it again, and just why not? Just why not? Guys, we have a pro-crypto SEC and CFTC. And it's like, let me say it again. The CFTC and the SEC, the two, like the chairman, they explicitly said that their main objective is our digital assets. Digital assets. Not anything else but digital assets. So is it a little bit contradictory, like how the market reacts to such statements like that? Wouldn't the market just see that and say, dude, the two biggest agencies are now welcoming players, and it's all gonna have meaning, rules of the road, and we have a pro-crypto administration? Like, wouldn't that just turn the engines on and let us just grow much higher, right? So there's more things behind the curtain of the altcoin season. And even Benjamin Cohen made a video yesterday saying why altcoin season never happened. I haven't watched it, but I kind of want to watch it, just kind of get a different perspective. Now, so these are pretty cool moments, right? We watched those. There's a few more. There's like plenty more, right? But I have to find them. Let's go ahead. I mean, I already have them right here. How's it going, everybody? Welcome. Here's another one. December 22nd. This is not from December 22nd. This is from another point. Here's another one. Might be, I just want to find the ones that when was this? This is January 28th. Oof. January, yeah, this is earlier. Here's one. Okay, this is like a conversation, a chat, border payments. It's got so many. This is way back. Way back. This is also way back. I mean, Brad Garlinghouse is everywhere. Like someone that it's known in many different, places. Oh, this is a good one from, Charles. Let's listen up to this one.
And it was a great round table. Sergey Nazarov was there, Anatoly from Solana. We got Ilya from Near and Brad from XRP. Some nice people, man. And it was good to see some old friends, some new friends, and make some deals here and there. Everything's coming along. Midnight's coming along really well. Cardano's coming along really well. We're pushing forward, as redemptions are looking strong, over 70,000, give or take, about 1.6 billion worth of tokens so far redeemed. And we just keep pushing forward. 60 days plus the scavenger hunt plus remorseful redemption pool. It's a really nice layered way of distributing a token and getting a lot of other ecosystems involved. In fact, I had a great conversation with Brad about XRP, and it'd be a lot of fun to do something there. So Lace is going to support XRP before the end of the year. I'd love to do a joint event with some of the people on that side of the aisle and see if we can get John Deaton there, a few others. But overall, kind of pushing forward. And it's a broad ecosystem, 8 ecosystems, 7 blockchains, Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana and XRP and Avalanche and BNB. Go down the list. It's a lot of good people. And it's going to be one of the largest, if not the largest, airdrops of all time. So
yeah, I mean, we got some of the tokens, 9 tokens, and the price was actually pumping a few days ago. Some of you checked your wallets, and if you were holding Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, and so you got some night airdrop, and that's money. You got free money from Cardano, which is pretty crazy. This is Singapore. Oh, this is super old. But yep, he's been in the game for a while. Super old too. What is this? Speak of memes on XRPL. Meme coins, guys. Case closed. Oh, yes. This was amazing. I got the video somewhere there. Okay, this is actually this year. This is actually this year. I remember this one. This is from Bank. From Bank. Here it is. This March. Okay, so this is related to the case. So we already watched the big response from the case. Maybe something a little more recent. Yeah, I remember that picture. I remember that one for sure. Here we have Dave. We pumping. Yeah, I mean, we're watching the one minute candle. I mean, that's obviously a lot. Got the 3 minutes too, which is good.
Why do you think XRP wasn't specifically named in the executive order for the digital asset stockpile?
Yeah, the audio is not the greatest there. This was posted at the beginning of 2025. How cool this is. The beginning of 2025, and we were talking about XRP ETFs. Brad confirms XRP ETF inbound. So beginning of 2025, we're going to have XRP ETFs. It's the end of 2025. How many XRP ETFs we have? We have plenty now. Spot in the United States. Right? So that's another big check, big success that we had. Really, really nice. I like that. That's good. Let's see this one.
Is that depending upon an SEC and CFTC to work together assumes good faith appointed officials.
Yeah, we already heard that one. Brad Garlinghouse party. What is that? This is a whale back. Yeah, I remember this one. This is I believe the last, it was at the World Economic. He said 180,000 Bitcoin. I'm going to see if I can find out. Here it is. This conversation right here. This is the Binance week.
What's your take on this too? Do you think the ETF floor was overhyped? Do you think the ETF floor was overhyped?
Definitely no. Look, obviously what you were describing is all data correct, but I think you got to zoom out a little bit further and realize that this ETFs didn't exist because of the regulatory problems in the United States. They didn't exist, and in the last 2 or 3 weeks, over $700 million have flown into XRP ETFs, which is just it's pent-up demand from institutional investors, from investors who want access because they don't want to custody themselves, what have you. But look, again, if you zoom out to the macro level, the total ETF market, only 1 or 2% of the total ETF market is crypto. I will bet anybody here that a year from now, that will be more than 1 or 2%. There's going to continue to be inflows, and yes, you can take a snapshot of time and say, okay, there's a billion left Bitcoin ETFs or whatever the data you cited a moment ago. But if you zoom out a little bit further and say, okay, over 2026, do we really think crypto ETFs are only going to be 1 or 2% of the total ETF market? No chance. And so that, again, it's one of those macro tailwinds where Ripple sits in a position where we see, particularly from our Ripple Prime, the prime brokerage business, we see a lot of interesting activity where institutions that have been on the sidelines, maybe because of regulatory clarity, maybe because of risk aversion, for whatever reasons they've been on the sidelines, they're getting involved. And they're starting small, and they're going to walk, then they're going to crawl, then they're going to walk, then they're going to run. And I think it's going to create a lot of tailwind.
So this moment in the market hasn't necessarily spooked institutional capital. That's what you're saying?
Definitely not.
Okay.
Boom. I found a channel here called Thinking Crypto. I follow the guy, actually. He's a good one. He follows me too. This guy had tremendous interviews with great people in the industry. Yeah, look, he was even invited there, so it's nice, really nice. He had Brad in one of those conversations, so that's pretty awesome. There's gonna be some content there from him. About a year ago, he had this conversation. I watched.
He
this
said very publicly, like, it's just a matter of time that you'll.
I watched this in its entirety, and it was really, really nice. Oh yeah, CNBC. Those are the guys who have all the videos. These are all the interviews. They're all the interviews. It's nice. So with this, I say, and I've said this publicly, before. I've said this many, many, many times. When I'm deciding which crypto I want to buy, depends, right? If I have, let's say I have $1,000, you can use that for $10,000, $100,000, $1 million, whatever your budget is. But if I talk a lot about a meme coin, great, because I like memes and I know I can make a lot of money with them if I know what I'm doing. But I'm not gonna put all my $1,000 in one meme coin. Might be $100, might be $50. But the coins that offer utility and have everything behind them because they're just excellent coins, those are the ones I'm going to go all in much harder, like maybe $700, $500. So I say that because when I'm finding the project that I want to invest, when oh man, that project is the best, I love it, I want to buy everything, right? Well, I'm looking for professionals. I'm not at that level. I'm not a big CEO, blockchain guru. I'm not. But I'm smart enough to detect who is and who isn't. And these are the people that I want to just hear. And I want to say, like, you know what, guys, you are going to be building. I'm going to be investing. And we both everybody is going to win, right? Ripple's going to win. Binance going to win. Solana's going to win. And we're just going to win and make money. So that's just like the way I see things, and it's worked so far. And I'm sharing this with you guys. We're not going to make a new blockchain to compete with XRP, to compete with XRPL. But what we're going to do is we're going to invest in them hard and huddle, and it's going to be okay. And once things get better, we're just going to start selling and taking profits or whatever you want, right? It's your money. At the end of the day, it's your money. Let's watch this one.
Ripple announcing just moments ago that it's partnering with BNY for BNY.
So here's when all the $4 billion, here's when all started. 4 partnerships, $4 billion. And no, this is not specifically for XRP, but this is Ripple. And if Ripple is profitable, if Ripple is succeeding, if Ripple is expanding, if Ripple is dominating, if Ripple is in the news, and if Ripple is winning, do I need to keep going? Like,
to be its primary custodian for its stablecoin. Joining us first on CNBC, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. Wow, that's a nice shot, Brad. It suits you well. You're looking very, very, even presidential almost. Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Good to be back.
Dude, imagine, bro. Imagine the like President Garlinghouse. No.
On Squawk Box.
You need a custodian for your stablecoin. Why BNY?
Well, look, I think as the crypto industry has emerged from kind of the last administration where the industry was being attacked, working with the most trusted, the most well-regulated, and even the best capitalized partners is a way to continue to build trust in this system. And stablecoins at their core, by their nature, it's a dollar backed with a dollar in deposits. BNY Mellon has, for a very long time been amongst the most trusted partners out there for as a custody bank. So we're really pleased. We think it's indicative of the shift of tide where we've had headwinds for this industry are now becoming tailwinds. And I think we're going to see a lot of growth.
I mean, all the way back to that duel, I think, right? Is that Bank of New York? I think, yeah, Alexander Hamilton. It goes back a ways, doesn't it?
That one goes way back. I didn't put a number out there because I wasn't sure how many years it's been. But the BNY Mellon, we feel very lucky to be partnered with them. And we think, again, building trust for the whole industry and having RLUSD, our stablecoin, which just passed $500 million of market cap. We launched only about 6 months ago. So we're really pleased with that trend line and feel like this will only continue to build that trust.
It's small compared to some of your competitors, though, at this point. How does that factor into how you approach the whole stablecoin industry?
So the stablecoin industry is about $250 billion today. Many people think it'll be between 1 and 2 trillion in a handful of years. The growth behind it has been profound. We joined the market kind of late, partly because we were using stablecoins in our payment flows for our institutional customers. As you probably know, Ripple at its core has been a payments company and solving a cross-border payments problem. We use stablecoins, we use XRP where it makes sense. And stablecoins, when we were using that, we were a big part of activity for us. We were minting a lot, and we thought we can participate in this market, given our institutional background, given the fact we've leaned into compliance and been very regulated. We have over 60 global licenses to participate in these markets. So we feel like the growth ahead will serve us well as we continue to serve that institutional client.
You still want a banking license, right? Even though you have this deal with BNY.
And they got a conditional approval banking license. And yes, I push Crow, Shiba, XRP, and other cryptos. Thankfully, it's not because of Oscar Ramos that crypto is down. It's just because of the market, right? Please be here once everything is ballooning to the moon, because I want to see your face, or in this case, your reaction in the comments.
Well, yes is the short answer. We have pursued and requested application to apply for an OCC license as well as a Fed master account. We think that the key here for crypto and the kind of decentralized finance, as many people call it, Ripple has been building bridges between traditional finance and decentralized finance. The world isn't going to be taken over by crypto. Instead, we think about how do we take the best of what crypto brings in facilitating faster, cheaper transactions and bring it to traditional finance. That's been at the heart of what Ripple has been focused on from the beginning. This is a step towards that, and certainly getting an OCC license. For those that have said that the crypto world wants to be unregulated, whatever, the opposite is true. I'm here in Washington in part, as you referenced, there's a Senate Banking Committee hearing today. We are advocating as an industry to be regulated. And those that, like Ripple, who have stepped forward and said we want to get an OCC license, in addition to the licenses we have with the New York Department of Financial Services, it only continues to augment that very robust, very compliance-first, trusted partner so that we can continue to use these technologies to benefit consumers and businesses alike.
Boom. Like that one. I have another one here. I like this one. It's not Brad, but it's another guy. 7 years ago, the future of XRP. I kind of want to play it, but it's just so long. 7 years ago. You believe? Okay, you guys. Oh yeah, I'm gonna play this one. Just why not?
So Bitcoin rising back above 110,000.
This was a month ago, guys. And guess who is gonna? is about to answer here.
This week, and the night is Tom. Happy
Tom Lee.
Friday. Bullish.
Lows, just to be clear, our S&P year-end target was 6,600, so we were still expecting explosive recovery in markets. But we are above that level, and we're 10 weeks before the end of the year, and the S&P is at 6,800. I think it's still a base case then for people to.
A lot of people listen. I'm not gonna, let it play fully. But what I'm saying is, like, these experts got it wrong, especially for Bitcoin and also Ethereum, right? Which is okay. They're all predictions. And the best is gonna come. That's what they say for 2026. In this case, now it's gonna be 2026. Now we have Binance Blockchain Week, Ripple. Here it is. Give me 1 second. Here it is.
Jurisdictions like right here in the UAE providing regulatory clarity, even as some other core markets.
So this is a conversation that took place a few weeks ago. It's one of the best ones yet. We watched it all, made a video about it. I think it's just one of the best top moments in 2025 for a bunch of different reasons. And not only you hear from Solana, but you also hear from Brad and also from Binance CEO, right? They all had its own battles, right? Their own battles for Solana, Binance and Ripple. So, I mean, they also had Bitcoin somewhere there, but let's listen up.
Markets pull back. So to unpack all of this, the volatility, the on-chain signals that we're seeing, the institutional picture, and what the next cycle might actually look like, we have three people who are really shaping the future of this industry from three very different vantage points. So Richard, I'll kick it off with you. First and foremost, thank you again for pulling us all together, and congratulations on the conference so far. Let's give Richard another round of applause, folks. Walk me through the week that we've seen in crypto, particularly in Bitcoin. What are you seeing in terms of real-world transactions on the platform right now? And is anything you've seen this week giving you cause for concern?
Well, first of all, just let me thank everyone for joining us, including Brad and Lily. Brad flew 20 hours here. Lily was just around the corner, take 20 minutes right here. But regardless, very, very thankful for the support and the love. I see somebody there with a placard stating that Brad is the digital Fed chairman. Where's that? The digital... Stand up.
And the queen.
So you can see a lot of support around the arena. Very, very grateful. But as you know, in the last few weeks, right, I think you talk about volatility. It not only happens to crypto, happens across the different asset class. US equities was impacted as well. The US shutdown and lack of data again contributed to that as well. But we are still very bullish. I think that we share the same view. We're still very, very bullish for the long term. The institutions are coming in a big way, and the allocation is still very small at this juncture, right? So the corporates, the family office, all starting to deploy. And with greater regulatory clarity from the likes of Genius Act, market structure bill in the US, that's forcing all the governments around the world to take notice and to reposition themselves in terms of competitive edge. We think that the best is yet to come, and the momentum is going to be very, very strong.
The best is yet to come. Brad, why do you think the bears are back in the market?
So number one, Binance CEO, of course, they made millions, billions of dollars, and they're going to make a lot of money regardless, right? Binance is set for success. The best is yet to come. Am I going to listen to somebody from the internet, or am I going to listen to the chief executive officer of the biggest exchange in the planet?
Well, why the bears back in the market? Look, first of all, thank you for having us. I think this is an incredible event. It's my first time to join this event, but hopefully look back to being next year as well. And obviously good to see you both. Look, I think crypto has gone through cycles. And when you have risk on, people are excited. Now you have kind of a risk off moment. There's uncertainty. I personally will echo some of the things Richard said. There are so many macro factors that are continuing to provide tailwinds for this industry that I think as we go into 2026, I don't remember being this optimistic in the last handful of years, where you do have, as Richard said, regulatory clarity in the largest economy in the world. And I think people underprice this. 22% of global GDP.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I was saying a few minutes ago. Like, now we have clarity. Wait, now we have the police who are pro-crypto, but we don't have Clarity Act yet. The police are pro-crypto now. But we still lack Clarity Act, the market structure.
He is the United States, and this is a market that has been really openly hostile to crypto for 4 or 5 years, or maybe longer. And now you have that has changed significantly pretty quickly, but the institutions are still catching up with that to some degree. You saw Franklin Templeton on stage here. You saw BlackRock on stage. Just this week, I think Vanguard has now opened up. Vanguard historically has said, we won't touch crypto. And now they've had a massive sea change. That's just one of many things that are creating those tailwinds. And so I'm super optimistic about the year ahead. The last thing I'll say on this, which I think we'll also probably all agree about on this, is we are also seeing real-world applications where it's not just about the speculation. You're finding easier to use interfaces so that crypto isn't just about the speculation. It's about solving real-world problems. And to sustain that long-term optimism, that long-term bull market, I think you're going to see more and more of that.
We're going to talk more about what's happening with institutional adoption, and I'm glad you mentioned it. I want Lily's take on what's happening in the market as well, because Solana has been one of the most aggressively bid up through this most recent upcycle. What are you seeing right now, and are you concerned?
Sure. I've been in this industry for over a decade now, and I think that one of the things that you've got to be able to...
That's so sexy, man. I just want to make a pause here. I've been in the industry for 5 years, and I still have so much to learn, which I'm thrilled. I feel young. I feel inspired. I feel like I got many years ahead of me. But the legends that have been here in the industry for 10 years plus, they are just experts, leaders, GOATs, legends, right? So if you have 1 year or less than a year and you're crying out loud because you're not a millionaire yet,
to accept, stomach, and learn how to lean into is the volatility of the markets. When you're dealing with the scope of ambition that we have here in crypto, peer-to-peer electronic cash system, right? Digitizing finance in a way which is accessible to 5.5 billion people. These are exponential outcomes, and you're going to have non-linear ups and non-linear downs. And what has always created this industry is these extremely volatile, irrational markets, frankly, and there are Newtonian laws of markets as well. Irrational up, you're going to have a correction. So I think it's pretty clear to everyone that there was a huge amount of interest driven by DATs. There's DATs for everything, basically from April until about the end of September, and that irrational liquidity window is going to have a correction, and that's exactly what we've seen. And that should not be a surprise. That is not a surprise to many of us. And in fact, having lived through many of these cycles, I remember when $800 Bitcoin was a bubble. And then there was $150 Bitcoin, and of course the world was ending.
$800 Bitcoin was a bubble. What a nice bubble.
Then as well, so I think we're doing just fine at $90,000 Bitcoin.
What's interesting, though, is that we have seen billions leave some of the largest ETFs in the market too, and there was meant to be this institutional floor under the market as a result of the adoption that we're seeing, but also these new capital flows. It's beyond just the retail investor. Was the ETF moment overhyped, do you think? Lily, take that one.
Well, I will note that actually there is one new ETF on the market that's been seeing daily inflow since it was launched. That is the Solana ETFs. So there's always bright spots in the market that maybe I observe a little bit more closely than others. But there are bright spots in the market. And I would also expect that over this tremendous cycle of where Bitcoin has ascended to these incredible heights, $120,000 Bitcoin, yes, there's going to be a correction. I remember way back when my guest Wi-Fi password was Bitcoin 100K. And I did that back in 2016, and everyone thought it was crazy. And now I have to change my guest password. So,
So what's the password now?
I don't know, what should it be?
250K or
We'll just keep on adding zeros. So,
Brad, what's your take on this too? Do you think the ETF floor was overhyped?
Definitely no. Look, obviously what you were describing is all data correct, but I think you got to zoom out a little bit further and realize that this ETFs didn't exist because of the regulatory problems in the United States. They didn't exist, and in the last 2 or 3 weeks, over $700 million have flown into XRP ETFs, which is just it's pent-up demand from institutional investors, from investors who want access because they don't want to custody themselves, what have you. But look, again, if you zoom out to the macro level, the total ETF market, only 1 or 2% of the total ETF market is crypto. I will bet anybody here that a year from now, that will be more than 1 or 2%. There's going to continue to be inflows, and yes, you can take a snapshot of time and say, okay, there's a billion left Bitcoin ETFs or whatever the data you cited a moment ago. But if you zoom out a little bit further and say, okay, over 2026, do we really think crypto ETFs are only going to be 1 or 2% of the total ETF market? No chance. And so that, again, it's one of those macro tailwinds where Ripple sits in a position where we see, particularly from our Ripple Prime, the prime brokerage business, we see a lot of interesting activity where institutions that have been on the sidelines, maybe because of regulatory clarity, maybe because of risk aversion, for whatever reasons they've been on the sidelines, they're getting involved. And they're starting small, and they're going to walk, then they're going to crawl, then they're going to walk, then they're going to run. And I think it's going to create a lot of tailwind.
So this moment in the market hasn't necessarily spooked institutional capital. That's what you're saying?
Definitely not.
Okay. Richard, you'd agree with that?
No, definitely. So if you look at just data on our platform, right, over the course of last 2 years, which has been exceptional, because you have to remember prior to 2024, it's largely a retail play within crypto. And last 2 years, because of the regulatory clarity that's coming through, US changing from being anti-crypto to now supporting crypto in a very big way with the ETFs coming through, and with financial institutions all starting to embrace and support that. On our platform, we saw doubling of institutional onboarding last year, and again doubling of this year, right? So they are still coming through in a big way. But as you know, for institutions, corporates, family office, they take a long time to do their own due diligence. Their onboarding process is much longer. So they'll come, but it's not going to be all together at one point in time. We're still very early in the process. We're about 8% global crypto adoption. And in our conversation with many corporates,
8% global crypto adoption. If it's 8% global crypto adoption, then what is it in the US? I mean, we're so early that some people are gonna be like, okay, guys, I'm out. I'll come back when it's more exciting. So when nothing's going on for us, that's it, right? So I'm come back when we're like at 20% global adoption. By then, when you come at 20%, the people who were left behind grinding and building this civilization of crypto degens, we're all gonna be mega rich. You'll come back, still trying to build your own story, but we'll be already set for life. That's what's gonna happen. That's why, it's the journey, right? Time.
With family offices, it's just a matter of time. They're all going through their own deliberation at this point in time, and they'll be coming on board on that front. So we're bullish for the long term. Again, going back to Brad's point, you have to take a longer term view of things. And there's a saying within crypto, every time if the market is down, every time people say Bitcoin or crypto is dead, if you put money into it, you'll be very, very in a very healthy position now.
What was
Chief Executive Officer of the biggest crypto exchange in the world just told you non-financial advice, but friendly recommendation. When you see it all down, spooky, dead, and the worst, just put some money there and it's gonna be okay.
Also interesting through this most recent market turbulence was that even as we saw cryptos falling, money was moving into stablecoins, which suggests that we are also seeing money staying in the system rather than moving elsewhere. Capital has lots of options to move, but instead decided to move into certain stablecoins. So how do you see the stablecoin system evolving over the next few years, and where are we at in terms of maturity right now?
I would say that we're going to continue to see acceleration. So if you look at the market cap of stablecoin, it has grown by 50% this year. The number of wallets again grown by 50% this year. And I think more and more institutions as well as corporates are realizing that it solves a lot of pain points, going back to Brett, your point. If you look at the current infrastructure in the banking space, right, you want to do a cross-border transaction.
We have about a minute.
Let's go ahead and watch the last few predictions, because we can be here all night, but I just realized that we've been live for 55 minutes. 55 minutes, guys. Where did the time go? But I love when we have fun, right? Drop a like, guys. Consider subscribing. Links down below. Join me on BTCC. Start trading and look at those nasty candles. I guess Merry Christmas.
Minute left, so I want each of your Wi-Fi passwords for 2026. Before we wrap it up, just quickly, where do you see Bitcoin by the end of next year? I want a simple answer from each of you. Let's make it fun. Richard, what is it going to be?
Stronger.
Oh, can you put a number on it?
Now I can't make a price prediction, but I'm a long-term holder, right? So I'm not looking at short-term price volatility, but I hope Lily changed her password to Bitcoin a million. Right?
Lily, batter up. What do you think?
We're going to be over 100K, guys. It's all good, guys.
Brad?
I'll go out on the limb and I'll say Bitcoin 180,000 December 23rd or December 31st, 2026.
All right, where's the prediction market around that now? It'll be live in 2 seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are rapidly running out of time.
So from, what is it, 80 what? We're like 86,000 right now. 86,000 to adding basically $100,000. That's what Brad Garlinghouse just told us right now for BTC, meaning that you are going to add another trillion plus to the market cap, right? And that is going to add, give or take, $500 billion to Ethereum. I mean, I think it would easily add $500 billion to Ethereum. That means that could add a possible 300 billion or 200 billion to a crypto like XRP. So that means that, just kind of like doing some quick math in my brain, just for reference, if we are at 100 and something, 110, 115 billion dollars for XRP, you are at 200 billion XRP the next year, following the plan for Bitcoin, right? We're looking at around 2x, 3x for XRP. Not bad. Two something X. Not bad. Which we're looking at $4 plus, breaking all-time high, breaking finally the $4. But we know that there's a bigger chance of passing that 4. That's what everybody tells us, right? When we hear predictions, right? 750, 1,000, 2,000, 10,000. That's crazy, right? But the point is that just doing the math a little bit, Brad Garlinghouse, and I'm excited for what's to come. Well, guys, big shout out to all of our members, subscribers, to my admins. Guys, I didn't tell you I was going to come live, but I kind of wanted to come here. Why not? And maybe not the greatest. Isn't it crazy, man? I'm just literally just trying to have fun here with you guys. And XRP is like, I'm going to give you some fun. I'm going to give you some fun, Oscar. And you know what that fun is going to be? That fun is going to be a nice 3-minute candle dip. And sometimes you wonder. Sometimes you wonder. That looks no bueno. But we were prepared for something like that, guys. 179, that's December 19, 177, right? So from the 177 Friday, this past Friday, we went to 196. And once again, more pain on the streets. Someone is selling for Christmas gifts. Crazy, right? Well, you guys, thank you so much for coming in. I hope you enjoyed the top moments, top highlights. There's some more, but I want to go ahead and relax now. God bless you guys. I'll see you on Patreon. I'll see you on Discord. We do have a promo. Want to tell you that before you leave. We have a $35 Discord access now. So usually it's $50, but now it's $35. So you want to join and take that chance, take that sale, you can totally do so. It's going to run until the end of the year. So those who want to join our behind the scenes, ask questions, and take a look at what we're doing, you're more than welcome now. Pretty nice offer. So thanks so much for your support. See you next time, guys. Thanks, Planets, Chipper, DJ, Quentin, Dangerous, and more. I saw you guys, so appreciate that a lot. Have a good one, guys. You take care. Peace. Merry Christmas. And you enjoy.